Only way you're going to trust your process is if you learn how to trust yourself. Welcome or welcome back. It's your favorite mental health specialist, Ty Guidance, and that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. Now, of course, because there's no right or wrong way to heal yourself, always and only take what resonates, as well as leave the rest, and grab your pen and your paper and be prepared to take notes. With that being said, in this video, we're going to go over 5 recommendations on how you're going to start trusting yourself, as well as the process, and 5 things to be aware of. Okay, so therefore you're not doubting yourself, you're not confused, and you're not conflicted, because anything that causes you confusion or confliction or difficulties is chaotic and it's not for you. So number 1, you have to figure out why you don't trust yourself. So as your favorite mental health specialist, as a motivational educator, as a naturopathic physician, we go to the root, sister or brother, or they, hey, he, she, EFG, elemental P, okay? We have to go to the source. There is some type of limitation, there is some type of blockage on why you think it's so difficult for you to be successful, or for you to be confident, or for you to believe in yourself. Let's start here. Until you identify where this root stems from, whether it's subconsciously, consciously, physically, emotionally, psychologically, howeverly, you're constantly going to limit yourself, limit your beliefs, and you're not going to be able to see past your current reality and your current situation. So, on your piece of paper or in the comment section, I need you to write down what it is that you do not trust about yourself. So, if you don't trust to be confident in yourself, or you don't trust yourself in being successful, I want you to write that down, and then I want you to answer why you feel that way about yourself. So, for example, let's just say that you don't trust yourself to lose weight. I want you to tell me why you feel this way. We're getting straight into it. And the reason why we're getting straight into it is because once you identify what it is that you're afraid of and how it makes you feel, we then can come up with solutions. A lot of people try to make their problems so much more challenging and so much more difficult than what it needs to be. Let's go ahead and get to the root. You said you wanted to heal. You keep crying, you keep whining, you keep praying, you ask for a sign, you went to God, answers Jesus, Allah. Here it is. What is it that you lack within yourself, and why do you feel this way? So those are 2 questions. When you're writing down your answers, we're going to go into the 3rd question. Where did this belief or limitation come from? So an example, if you have a lack of confidence and you don't feel confident because you think you're ugly or etc. or whatever it is, when did you start to feel this way? When did this start to show up in your life? Was this something that was projected onto you? Was this something that you were exposed to? Where does it come from? Until we can work within, your external reality is not going to change. You're not going to be able to trust the process. You're not going to be able to have faith in yourself. You're going to feel like you need proof and evidence to see it in order to believe it. And that's what we want to avoid. In order for you to trust the process, you have to have enough faith and enough confidence in yourself, regardless of having everything figured out. So the second thing you need to be aware of when trusting the process, when you take the time to do this, is that it is a process. It is a journey. There's no right or wrong way. There's no one size fit all when it comes to healing. So your process could take years. Your process could take days. Your process could take months. It's not the same, and it's not meant for you to compare, because yes, everybody goes through things. Yes, there are some people who are successful, regardless of how they got their success or their confidence or whatever it is that you consider to be admirable. It's still not for you. You have to understand that what's for you is for you, and what's not, you can't force it. You can't force connections, compatibility, or connections, and you shouldn't want to. So once you realize that your journey, your healing, your process, your confidence, your success is yours, you don't feel like you have to rush or that you're behind. The 3rd thing you need to be aware of when trusting the process, other than being patient, is knowing that some days may be better than others. When you are starting to have confidence, when you lack confidence, it requires effort. So if you are somebody who struggled with doubt for 20, 30, 40 plus years, and now all of a sudden you want to be confident, and now all of a sudden you want to feel good about yourself, you have to realize that the things that you used to do, you can no longer do. How you used to talk about yourself, how you used to feel about yourself, what you allowed from other people. So you have to figure out what that looks like to you. So that's going to be your homework assignment, and I'm going to go ahead and start the recommendations. But your homework assignment is to figure out what success looks like to you, what confident looks like to you, what you can do to start becoming those things, and anything that's not in alignment with that definition, you need to be able to start to remove. You have to realize, once again, when you decide to heal yourself, trust the process, become faithful and successful, and have a sense of trust in yourself, God, ancestors, and the universe, take what resonates, leave the rest, it is going to require a lot of energy, and it requires a lot of patience. So you don't have to feel overwhelmed, and you have to be able to be vocal and articulate and be honest about how you feel. So during this time, when you're going through emotions and you're grieving, it's really important that you pray, go to God, ancestors, universe. Once again, I'm not here to force religion or spirituality. Take what resonates, leave the rest. That you book your services with your therapist, that you're watching these videos, you're implementing the notes, you're confining in people that you trust and love, you're separating yourself. Like I said, you're doing your homework assignments where you're figuring out what's working for you, what's not, what you like, what you don't like, etc. And your homework assignments are to challenge you, because this is an educational content. We're here to motivate, educate, and inform. I want to make it entertaining, I want it to be fun, but until we figure out what's tea, we're not doing anything else. We need to, like I said, go to the source, go to the root, so therefore we can come up with solutions. Okay, and your homework assignments are due in the comment section. Like I said, this is a judge-free, mature audience. So in the comment section on your sheet of paper, and also book your service and your session with me, your favorite mental health specialist. Okay, now, and once again, all my social media platforms and my website will be in the description down below, or in my bio when you go on my channel. Now, what are the recommendations? That was just the disclaimers. That was just what you need to be aware of. Number one, the recommendations. In order for you to trust the process, we're going to go back to ourselves. I want you to figure out why you feel like it's so impossible for you to trust yourself. Why is it so impossible for you to trust yourself? Did you do something in your past? Have you made certain choices where you weren't proud of? I need you to figure out, why are you being so hard on yourself? This goes back to the disclaimers. This goes back to your homework assignments, but be for real. If you're going to be anything, I need you to be for real. Why do you feel like it's so hard for you? Is it because you've never done this before? Is it because you were never taught how to be confident? Is it because, once again, people made fun of you? Is it because you don't have the resources and the tools, the finances? Why? And I'm going to keep asking you until you be honest. So therefore we can figure out, okay, what can we do moving forward? Everyone's situation is going to be different, so take what resonates, leave the rest. But it's like, why is it so hard for you to trust yourself? Why? So for example, I'll use myself. Before I became an entrepreneur, I personally didn't struggle with trusting myself because I knew this is what I wanted. But let's just say I did. Let's just say I was having a hard time starting a business. Maybe I could have a hard time starting a business because maybe I'm not used to people being entrepreneurs, or I don't know what that looks like, or maybe because I didn't have the certain resources and the certain tools. You have to be honest about your why, because once you can articulate it, once you express it, once you journal it, and like I said, you're confiding in somebody, you can then realize, okay, how is this making me feel, and what you can do moving forward. If you feel like you can't trust yourself because you were never taught and shown trust, then we could start finding ways for you to trust yourself by having you set goals for yourself, having you set certain standards for yourself, having you set certain boundaries for yourself, and practicing them and implementing them and applying them to your life until you see the result. Nothing in this life is impossible unless you don't think it's impossible. The second recommendation you have to realize when trusting yourself is that anything or anybody who is not willing to trust you or pour into you or support you, you don't need to trust them. You have to learn how to trust yourself before you trust anybody else. You have to believe in yourself more than anybody else believes in you. I don't care what people say. People will sit here and say they trust you, they love you, support you. They smile in your face the whole time they want to take your place, or they don't really feel that way about themselves. You have to have a certain level of confidence within yourself if you don't have it already. You cannot look for external. You cannot look for external and external, I just made up a word, validation, meaning anything other than you, until you are 100% confident. I don't know why I'm getting tongue twisted. But anyways, until you have a 100% confidence within yourself, What other people say and do when it comes to your process or you elevating or leveling up will just be reassurance and confirmation. Anybody who speaks negativity about themselves or into you, about your process, or judges you without getting to know you or not financing you, feeding you, educating you, or pouring into you, you don't need them around you. And you have to realize that a lot of times people struggle with confidence and trust because, once again, maybe you weren't shown and taught, or maybe you have people belittle you or project their limitations and their fears onto you. You have to realize that when it comes to big dreams and becoming the best version of yourself, people who do not put in the work, the time, energy, and effort are going to project and deflect. And a lot of times they cannot help you. They can only give you a certain amount of information. So if these people are not someone that you inspire to be like, or you don't see them putting in the work, or if you know that, their character, their mindsets, and their morals, and even how they live life isn't compatible with you, accept people for who they are, create distance, and create boundaries and stand on them. You have to realize that you trusting the process requires you to have a certain level of boundaries, and if anything or anybody is not in alignment with you, it's just not for you. The third thing you have to realize when it comes to you trusting your process is that it's your process. It's not going to look like everybody else's. So it's like you can't compare your life, and you can't compare your struggle. You can't compare what you've been through with other people. Like, yes, there's some people who went through the same things as you, but everybody handles life differently. So it's important that you surround yourself with like-minded people. You know, you learn from people who went through similar things and they have a similar experience, but you cannot be so worried about how everybody else is doing certain things if it doesn't resonate with how you have to do it, because you still have to show up for yourself in order for you to trust your process. You're the one who has to go through this. Like, I'm not going through what you're going through, and you're not going through what I'm going through. Like, yes, we all go through things, but once again, how we choose to handle it and when we go through it in a certain part of our life is going to be different. So you have to realize that with you learning to trust the process, you have to learn how to trust yourself. So lastly, this is a challenge. Once again, we motivate, educate, and inform. I want you to set a goal or set some type of commitment, and it could be small, right, that you can complete starting off. If you don't trust yourself, I need you to set examples for yourself. So you could learn to trust yourself by saying that you're not going to drink soda or sugar for a week or a month or a year. I need you to write that down. I need you to set your goal, and I need you to do it, and I need you to come back and let me know when you completed it. I want you to learn to trust yourself by saying that you're going to wake up at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning for 3 days and do it. And if you don't do it, if you mess up, I want you to go back and start over again. I need you to set a goal for yourself that you can complete before the end of this month or whenever, and actually get it done. That's how you're going to learn to trust yourself. You're going to learn to trust yourself by holding yourself accountable. You're going to learn to trust yourself by setting goals for yourself that you can achieve. So therefore, you become better at it. Because in order for you to trust the process, you have to be committed. You have to be consistent. You don't know when certain things are going to show up in your life or how they're going to show up in your life if you've never done them before. And when it comes to healing, when it comes to ascension, a lot of us are walking in unfamiliar territory. So when you do something for the first time, you don't have to necessarily be afraid or scared, even though that is common for most people, but you don't know. So instead of giving up because you don't know how long something's going to take or what you have to do in order for you to get it, pace yourself. Be mindful, and most importantly, decide if you want to trust yourself. Because let's be for real, if you're not willing to trust yourself, or if you don't want to trust yourself, you're not going to trust your process. You're constantly going to have doubt. You're constantly going to limit yourself. You're constantly going to hold yourself back. So learning to trust the process is learning to have a certain level of confidence within yourself, being practical, and just focusing on the things that allow you to trust yourself. And anything else it's not for you. And it will get easier over time as long as you're willing to do the best that you can daily. So it's like you have to go through a season of discomfort. You have to be uncomfortable in order for you to be comfortable. And you have to do things that you're not used to doing. You have to become disciplined even when you don't feel like being disciplined. And when you learn to be disciplined, you don't have to overwork yourself. You don't have to burn yourself out. But you're practical about, okay, if I said that my goal was to not drink soda or pop for a week, and I know that I have a sweet tooth, me learning to slowly drink it and then eventually cut it out is better than me just not trying it at all. So like, let's just say you have like juice in your house and you're like, okay, well, I'll only have 1 cup of juice and then I'll have 1 cup of water. And then slowly you'll stop drinking the juice. You just start drinking more water. Like, you have to be able to try in order for you to trust yourself. So I'm going to end off the video with that because I said a lot, okay? If you guys have questions, comments, concerns about this video, let me know what resonated with you, what you're doing moving forward. And your homework assignments are going to be due on your piece of paper that you're taking your notes on, as well as in the comment section down below in this video or the next one. As well as thank you guys for liking the video all the way to the end. Thank you guys for following me on all my social media platforms. All the information will be down in the description box below, as well as turning on your post notifications so you're subscribed and letting me know what you're looking forward to. Thank you guys again, and make sure you guys follow me on Instagram and on TikTok. I will be going live answering you guys' questions, comments, concerns if I didn't answer them here on YouTube or in the comment section, as well as when you book your service and your appointments. And if you can't, that's fine. DM me on Instagram if you have anything that's confidential or personal that maybe you don't feel comfortable saying in the comment section. But just know this is a judge-free environment, so all negative energy from any race, gender, age, etc. will not be tolerated, okay? But in order for you to trust the process, you have to learn how to trust yourself. So pace yourself, relax, and just be prepared for the journey, because that's all life is about, okay? Love you, bye.